Hey, I thought I'd try and capture in a moment what God's been speaking about, some things that are important to us. We start to navigate the next transition for us as a church community, as you start to try and figure out how to re-engage with some old rhythms and new rhythms in your life and what's important. How do you sum up the last 18 months? I don't think you can you? So much has happened in our world, in our own lives. It's been just an incredibly chaotic time. And I'm sure you're feeling a ton of emotions as you start to try and figure out what this next season looks like. Asking a lot of questions, I'm sure, thinking a lot of thoughts. And it's right when things are thrown up in the air that you do ask questions. You ask what's important, what do we prioritize? What's the main thing? What do we value? And then also, particularly, what is God speaking about and what is the Holy Spirit doing in this moment? I hope you're doing that individually and as families, and we're seeking to do that as a church. Just before the pandemic, one of our community, Catherine Taylor, had this picture, this vision, which I believe was from the Lord. I think it's really helpful just as a way to understand some of the things that God has been doing with many of us. And in the vision, it was a group of people in a room, and they were actors in a play. And each of them had a set of scripts that had been edited and reworked for their own purpose and for their own agenda. Everybody knew their part, and things seemed settled and in control. And then in the vision, a wind came and threw the scripts up into the air, and they were all over the place. It was a moment of chaos. It was disorientating, and everybody wondered what was going on. But as people began to realize, the Holy Spirit was doing something in the chaos, in the wind. And they began to surrender to that work of His grace. Something beautiful happened in the picture. Each person began to receive a script, a new script, not crafted by human hands, not re-edited by ourselves for our own purpose, but given by the Lord, by the Holy Spirit, sovereignly. It was in full color. And as they received that, their part to play was a moment of joy. I think it's a really beautiful and profound picture of some of the stuff that God has been doing with many of us. It's been uncomfortable, it's been chaotic, but it's been something the Holy Spirit has been doing too. And as we re-engage with things personally and then as a church community, we want to stay with that kind of posture, that kind of attitude where we lean into lead into what the Holy Spirit is asking and doing with us. Some things are still important, some things haven't changed, and some things we need to return to, and that's right that we do. We've missed some things. The mission, the ministry, and the message of Jesus hasn't changed. We've missed community, we've missed gathering in person for many things. There are some things we need to hold to. But then the world has changed, and it would be naive of us not to realize that. And so how we communicate and step into the call that Jesus has put on us as a church community and on you as an individual in that, or a family in that, the way we do that needs to be flexible and creative. We need to be open to what the Holy Spirit might be doing and be open to change. And so I want to invite you I want to share with you 3 words that I want to help anchor us and kind of set a little bit of a parameter and vision for us as we try and ask those questions and navigate this time. The first one is we want to be rooted, planted in the heart of the communities that God has called us to reach, seeing God show up in His power and with His presence so that we can heal and restore those that come to us and serve the community around us. We want to be rooted. We want to be reaching. We want to see the kingdom spread and multiply out as we carry the good news of Jesus into our homes and neighborhoods, workplaces, schools, and wherever we go. And then we want to do the work of replanting. God has called us to go. There are places that don't know about Jesus or have forgotten what He's like or cannot see who He is. And He's inviting some of us, called by the Spirit, to go, and others of us to invest and release people to go. And so I'm going to talk about each of those things over the next number of weeks and months, but I want to invite us to kind of reflect on them as we look at this next season together.